Scott Hansen, the 72, Terry Fisher Jr. in the 81, Donnie Wilson in the 82, Johnny Van Dorn in the 61, the 39 of Kenzie Rustin, the 40 of Thor Anderson, the 11 of Peter Cozzolino, the 4 of Derek Griffin, the 54 of Jeff Foltz, the 64 of Griffin McGrath in the 10th starting spot. The outside lane gets the advantage of moving up a little bit since the 26 of Turner went into the pits. Turner has climbed out from behind the wheel of his car. Unfortunate break for the Y-Town hustler, Rick Turner. 1 to go at the line this time. 1 lap before the green for Scott Hansen. Fisher on the outside. Fisher has had a great season in the 81 car. Claimed his first career CRA Super Series win at Angola Motor Speedway. He's been in the top 5 at a number of other events. Was in competition for that series championship, coming down to the final stretch, and the top 5 in points entering the event. Jeff Lane, former series champion in the 11, is pulled to the bottom of the track, and he's letting the field go by. Another series veteran with problems. Jeff Lane goes to the infield. Field rolling through 3 and 4, picking up the pace, coming to green. We're underway at Winchester, 100 laps of action. Hansen Fisher lead the field into 1. Hans nearly was able to close the door, and now he will on the backstretch. Hans in the lead. Fisher defending that second spot from the 61 of 2-time series champion Johnny Van Dorn, side by side for second. Van Dorn pulls forward, coming off of 2, takes the advantage in the second spot. Fisher fights back, going into 3. They're still side by side. The 72 of Hans leads. Van Dorn has now taken second from Fisher. Donnie Wilson in the 82 car looks to the inside lane. Wilson for third. He's got it. Fisher back to fourth. 5 car links back to the 4 car of Thor Anderson. Wilson to the inside of Hans now. Side by side for the second spot. We've completed 10 of our scheduled 100. Clean and green early, lots of side-by-side racing. Right now it's the 2 of Tweedy moving forward, gets by the 41 of Brent Jack. Tommy St. John, C.J. Leary, Joe Beaver, and Jay Newick round out the lead lap cars. Van Dorn, a 3-car length lead on Donnie Wilson right now. The lead has stabilized at the front of the field. Van Dorn, Wilson, and Hans, decent lead. And a yellow will come out for the first time today. Caution out for Bubba Pollard. Pollard slows. We'll see if he picks up the pace to get to the pits. No, he's still middle of the backstretch. We have completed 22 circuits. Trying to get the cars side by side, entering turns 3 and 4. Van Dorn on the outside, Wilson on the inside. We're back underway. The green is out. Wilson will move up into second as it's Van Dorn going into the lead. Here comes Derek Griffin into third. The 2 points leaders racing for the third spot. Hans on the inside. Not quite able to close the door on Griffin yet, but he will in turn 1. So Hans the point leader. Griffin 19 points back, is running in the 4th spot right behind the low lane. Donald Carr and the 184 off the pace in this race. Lets the lead lap cars go around. Wilson looks to be, oh, we got trouble coming off of 2. Look out. Some cars piled up. Could have been a lot worse. The 40 car of Anderson spins. The 40 car of Thor Anderson spun coming off of turn number 2 and had oncoming traffic coming at him with the driver's door exposed. Fortunately, everyone able to make it by without hitting Anderson. Galata, though, with some damage to the front end of his 131 car. Wilson again lagging back a little bit. If he stayed alongside of him, he might have a shot to take the lead away from Van Dorn. He's not going to do it this time either as Van Dorn pulls ahead. Wilson, Griffin side by side for second. And Wilson's going to hold off Griffin, see if Griffin can take third this time from Hans. Hans held on to it last time. Hans gets into the turn so strong down in 3, and he'll pull up in front of Griffin in turn 4. So Scott Hans hangs on to third. Griffin back to 4th, and 5th is Cozzolino. Blew his engine. Joe Beaver has spun in the 0, goes down onto the infield grass, and caution is out. Oh, Wilson in the 82 car got into the back of Scott Hance when Hance checked up for the yellow. Wilson ran into the back of him. Wilson knocks the hood into the air as he got into the back of Scott Hance. Whenever Hance checked up for the yellow, Hance's car looks to be okay. Ready for the green. The Sam Pierce Chevrolet Pace truck drops again to the pits. Coming to green, Scott Hance on the bottom, Johnny Van Dorn on the high side, and we're back underway at Winchester. Cozzolino looks to the outside of the 72 of Hance, but Hance closes the door. Hance to the bottom of Van Dorn for the lead, coming off of 2. Scott Hance, his car working strong on the bottom groove today, and he challenges Johnny Van Dorn in 3 and 4. Van Dorn tries to keep his momentum down by going down the banking a little bit. Van Dorn protecting now. Brian Reevely way sideways entering turn 1 that time, able to get it righted. Oh, contact backstretch. Rustin around, as well as the 25 of David Carter. On front stretch, Reevely and McGrath get together, and Reevely goes into the wall. So McGrath in the outside lane and Reevely in the one. After the yellow would wave, they bump tires on the front stretch, and Reevely goes into the inside retaining wall. Things heating up at Winchester, including the battle for the lead where Scott Hance challenged Johnny Van Dorn. Reevely will try to get his car turned around. He's going to go down to the end of pit wall and turn onto pit road. Here we go for another restart. 44 laps in, 56 to go, 6 away from halfway. Can Hance challenge Van Dorn on this restart like he did on the last one? It's going to be Van Dorn darting into the lead with Hance following closely. Hance trying to get back to the inside, coming off of 2. Van Dorn actually has a 5-car length lead on Hance as we are now 2 laps past the halfway mark. 52 laps in, 48 to go. And Van Dorn and Hance setting a torrid pace. Little contact between David Carter and CJ Leary going down the front stretch. Carter takes the spot. Jeff Foltz racing with Terry Fisher Jr. for the number 6 position. Actually now Pierce, his run through the field has stabilized some. He has not been able to run down the 11 toward the bottom, and he's within 2 car lengths. Around the 84 of Newick. Last car on the lead lap is the 4. Trouble on the backstretch. Brent Jack in the 41 car slides up towards the infield. Goes back down the hill. Caution for the 41 of Brent Jack. The Butler, Indiana driver brings out a yellow past the lap 70 mark. Van Dorn leads. Hance's second. Cozzolino is third. 28 laps to go. The 72 of Hance will try it again. A 3-time series champion on the bottom, 2-time series champion on the high lane. Green is out coming off of turn 4, 28 to go. And Van Dorn gets the better start, and around goes the field on the front stretch. Big time trouble going into turn 1. Cars spinning, debris flying. The track is covered in turn number 1. Cozzolino in the 111, the 81 car of Terry Fisher Jr., 2 of the original cars that get together. Rustin's involved. Her damage is very minimal. 41 of Brent Jack involved. 41 of Brent Jack, the 64 car of Griffin McGrath. .72 in, 28 to go. Hance on the inside, Van Dorn on the outside. Into 3, they pick up the pace between 3 and 4. They're back underway with 28 to go. Many of the cars have singled out. Hance will now drop in line behind Van Dorn. On the rear bumper, going into turn 3 and 4. He looks back to the inside lane. Double wide racing mid-pack is the 7 car of Deach. Loses a spot to the 25 of Carter. Kinsey Rustin comes along as well on the outside lane. Kinsey Rustin running the high side. Most important battle right now is for the number 5 spot. St. John holds it. Donnie Wilson wants it. 86 at the line for Johnny Van Dorn. Gary Griffin moves up another spot in the top 10. Closing in on the top 5 is Griffin, but he's still a few positions away. Would probably need a caution for that to happen. Aaron Pierce is closing on Scott Hance. Hance fading in the late stages of today's race. 11 laps to go, 89 in. Also the 54 car of Fultz has made a run at the 39 of Ruston and picked up a spot. Final 5 circuits, 95 laps in. Tommy St. John racing with Mingus for the 4th position. Donnie Wilson within striking distance of those 2 cars as well. It'll be 2 laps remaining at the line. This time, 2 laps remaining at the stripe. 2 to go for Johnny Van Dorn, Scott Hance, Aaron Pierce, Mason Mingus, and Tommy St. John. White flag this time, final circuit for Johnny Van Dorn. Van Dorn down the backstretch into the 3rd corner on his way to his first CRA Super Series victory in 2011. Hance and Pierce are closing, but they're out of time as Van Dorn cruises to victory lane. Hance 2nd, Pierce 3rd, 4th Mingus, 5th St. John, 6th is Fultz, 7th is Wilson, Ruston 8th, Griffin 9th, and Nikolai comes home 10th. Good race. Big thanks to all of the folks listening in on speed51.com as well today to the running the Winchester 100 for the CRA Super Series.